is up.
Episode 11.
No, you remembered. I did. Well,
The only way.
after we had our epic episode number 10, it seemed like that it's like we're starting at number 1 again in decades, so to speak. So we're back.
I don't know when the next time I'm going to remember what episode number it is. Only reason I remembered this one is because it was number 11.
Yes.
And that comes after 10.
Are you sure? Are you sure that 11 comes?
Yeah, I got the calculator out. Sure enough.
So at least we know that, all right, folks, we are officially at number 11.
Yep.
So
Can't.
You can't fault us for that. Hey, we're musicians. This is what I always tell people. We're musicians, not mathematicians.
Or computer geeks, which I wish we were, because actually we've been. I was on a walk in the neighborhood, and I was like, I texted John like, "Hey, let's shoot a little earlier tonight."
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
So I'm like, okay, so we're ready to shoot, and then it's like technical difficulties. We're shooting this on my phone because evidently the iPad wouldn't work.
We tried for 45 minutes. This button, that button.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, let me just plug my phone in, and then boom, here we are. So
but hey, we're doing this for y'all. It doesn't matter how we get it done. But you got a new microphone, didn't you?
Yeah. How am I sounding?
Sounds good to me. How does it sound to you? Great, fantastic, wonderful.
Yeah, folks. So we're starting a series tonight.
Yeah.
On songwriting.
Yes.
What it kind of how a song is born.
How all is the way song? How just like what we were playing with that kind of a 50s style. Because if you look back, how studio musicians, they would record this cookie cutter song, and then you would have somebody come in, because the song we were playing could fit with Oh Donna, it could fit with 16 Candles, maybe some Chuck Berry in there.
Right.
But that's very cookie cutter. But for you and I who do more instrumental, how does someone like us start with an idea? Because that's usually where it starts, right? You're jamming or whatever.
Yeah, you get a little idea. You get with me, I don't know. It always, I guess, being a guitar player first. I mean, I'm not a singer, you know what I mean, or really even a lyricist. You know what I mean? Like I don't have my lyrics usually they come dead last, and but being a guitar player, it usually starts with a riff. It starts with a I'll just come up with something,
right,
and I'll just build on it. I mean, even if it's just a simple, and then I'll take that and it'll run through my head and. But yeah, for me, it starts with a riff.
And speaking of riffs, on my last album, I came up with just a basic riff for a song, and I just kept repeating it in slight variations, but it still had a little bit of a repetitive nature to it. And most people said love it, never had too many critiques, but one person I've known for many years, he said, I really like it, but he said, my only critique is it comes off a little bit repetitive. So now, with my writing, and have you noticed that our writing gets more complex? Have you noticed that? It gets more complex. So what I'm doing is I'm taking not just one riff, but I'm taking 2, preferably 3, maybe even 4 basic riffs, like Brian was saying. Take a basic riff and just come up with a couple different riffs. Something that flows together, and you've got a 3+ minute song, just
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a song, it's easy and it's hard at the same time, and that's me. A lot of it, I've kind of gone to the recordings I've done lately, where everything is, there are a lot. I mean, the songs they're simple but more complex at the same time. The chord structures are very simple.
Yeah.
It's more ambient type stuff. But either way, it's a challenge.
It is.
I mean, songwriting, and that's why you hear these bands that are in the studio that's why it's so much time between albums and stuff, because it takes so long.
Yeah.
To really dial these songs in. And so kind of what I like to do is get I'll come up with a riff. I mean, just an idea.
Yeah.
And even then I don't have any idea what the song is going to sound like, but it's like, okay, let's build on this.
It always changes, doesn't it? Because your basic idea is it's still just an idea, but then you take that and you're still going to make some changes. It's not final. Mm-hmm. In fact, I would say it's not final until it's on the shelf, or nowadays until it's on the digital market, until it's, so you can always make changes until it's out there.
Yeah, and a lot of times, and that's kind of the beauty of recording at home, because you're not having to pay for your studio time.
Yes.
And but I write and record at the same time. A lot of times I'll get that simple riff, that simple chord structure, just the bones of the song.
Yeah.
And I'll lay down like a rough track.
Right.
And then I'll start building on it. So that's another way to do it. If you have kind of a scratch pad of some sort, a little 4-tracker or something like that.
You can even, just because of smartphone technology, you could just to be able to hear a playback. In fact, sometimes I'll do that, and maybe you do it too, where I'll just take my phone and just... Now, here's the thing, talking about miking techniques, in a previous episode, the same thing applies to when you're going to record using your phone. Once again, it's not that finale, it's not that final piece, but just to hear... Just put your phone in different areas and just kind of get an idea of the sound that you're getting. And also try, one thing I found is your phone, the little speaker on here, the one thing I've noticed is this is a mono sound. This is not stereo, which means that you need to listen to it through earbuds, listen to it in your car. How many times we said, listen to it if it sounds good in your car, it sounds good. When you listen to it on your speaker, on your phone speaker, this is mono. You want a stereo output, even if it's earbuds. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. But song, it's a lot, and for me, I spend a lot of time, I'm sure you do, just doodling, just sitting around, screwing around, and what I do is when I find something that's interesting, I'll shoot a video.
Yeah.
And especially of my hand, so I can remember the next day.
Oh yeah, I do too.
The next day, I'm like, okay, that's what.
I've got 4 songs like that.
Yeah, and then after every 5 songs, there may be one of those that you might want to take to the next level. You might want to. Okay, this one's actually it's like dating people. Like every 5 people,
it's true.
Might find one
that's
worth putting a ring on.
Now, how many times have you come up with a couple? Like you said, you've got 5 doodles. How many times have you taken more than, let's say, 2 or more of those doodles, and you're like, wait a minute, these sound really similar, and you put that as a song?
Oh, all the time. Yeah, I'll take those and I'm like, okay, this doodle goes with that doodle, and it's like, okay.
Connect the dots, exactly.
Yeah, and it's just kind of, and that's what's cool about the digital age, because you can record you can record right there on your phone. And they even have apps that are like little 4-trackers. You can record different deals. GarageBand.
Yeah,
It's all on your
GarageBand.
phone.
It is.
It's a whole studio. You can do anything in GarageBand. And it's free. Is it free?
Yeah, because when I
think
got
it's
my
free.
new phone, it comes free. GarageBand.
Yeah.
So, for people who prefer using Androids, I get that. But this is one perk to using using an iPhone, because GarageBand for free. Now, I'm sure that there are free apps on Android and some of these others, right? I don't know. I mean, once again, I've always been an iPhone person, but
yeah. Or maybe they can get it on Android now. Who knows?
But yeah, get a free recording app. You'd be surprised what you come up with.
Yeah, record. It's a great scratch pad, because when you hear yourself play, you can really dissect. Because there's things I picked up. And a lot of times when I'm writing a new batch of songs, I'll listen to an older batch of songs, like older albums and stuff, and I'll pick out things that I did, just little, just subtle things, but I'll pick up on things like, okay, I didn't like the way I, was double picking that, or you know what I mean? And then this lead was a little too repetitive, and you can kind of critique and going back and listening to stuff that you played years ago. It's like, oh, that was really cool. And so, kind of helps, complete the circle of knowledge.
But at the same time, I've even found that coming up with ideas that you've come up with before on a previous album. Like, I was listening to a song that I came up with, and I'm like, wait a minute, have I played this before? But it's different enough where I go, whew, okay, I'm not writing the same song again. And I think sometimes, doesn't that ever happen where you're like, wait a minute, haven't I ever recorded this before?
Exactly.
So
exactly.
You just never know.
I know. Well, how are we looking on time?
We've got a few minutes left. We're trying to, just for time's sake, and I know that we started off our first couple episodes around the 25-minute mark, and then it started creeping up. So we're trying to get around that 20-minute mark, 25-minute mark, something that's a little bit closer to.
We could go on for hours.
We could. That's our problem is we don't know when to shut up.
We've got the gift of gab.
We're both Irish, so we just feel like...
Dude, we're going to end up replacing Letterman. Well, someone's already replaced Letterman. But we need our late night talk show.
And we're already talking about writing a book on music and what Guitar Dudes does. So we are trying to keep the time frame respectful. We do respect your time, but we do appreciate... We are getting some new subscribers, so we really do appreciate y'all following. So, how about we do... in fact, while we were setting up, I was playing a little Creedence Clearwater Revival. So I thought... By the way, I am using... You may be wondering, what the hell? This is different.
That's why the whole video I've been...
I'm using a little bit different guitar tonight. This is a 1968 Gibson ES 345. Don't quote me on that. It's a 1968 Gibson ES. Still plays like a dream. So anyways, I decided to pull this out, and I'm sure you'll see this on. Still plays great for a guitar that's 50 years old. So anyways, I thought we'd do a little, get another beer. I'm actually running out of beer because this is the same beer that I was drinking as we were going through our technical difficulties.
That's a good timer. It's like the sand timer, just a beer. A beer's 15 minutes. Right? 15 minutes.
This is our timer. This is the official Guitar Dudes timer. So, how about a little, in the key of D, little, what is it, CCR.
The C, and quick. I know. We said we wouldn't do this. I used to know a guy. My dad hung out with a guy that was a roadie for CCR.
Really?
Yeah, and we used to go over to his house, and he had this shed in the backyard,
That's
and
cool.
he had all these like cool old vintage guitars, and we'd go jam, and it was fun. That's it. A 20-second story.
So you actually know a roadie from CCR?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, he was actually standing right next to me when my dad passed away.
Really?
He had come to visit. Yeah, and I hadn't seen the guy in like 20 years.
Huh.
And I know.
Damn. You never
Small
know,
world, dude.
You never know who you're going to run into. Of course, here in Waco, you've got, for those of you who are Ted Nugent fans, Ted lives here in Waco. So you just never know. And, let's not forget Magnolia. I can't believe I just did a plug for that. Oh. So anyways.
If they sponsored us now,
that'd be different.
I got a little fixer-upper of my own.
Oh, dude. Do you think that they'd really head up to Washington? Oh, I don't know. We are, we're getting a little head of steam here. Guitar Dudes, episode 11. You never know.
Yeah, man. I know.
You never know. So don't forget to like, subscribe. What
comment.
Else do we need?
Tell your friends, your neighbors.
Haters.
If you see someone's car that's filthy, write Guitar Dudes on it.
Yes.
That's what I'm going to start doing.
Don't write "wash me." Write
Guitar Dudes.
That's right. Watch that. Haters, taters, and hoes.
Haters, taters, and hoes, folks.
We like them all.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.